Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we'll be going over how to paint our Tyranid Psychophage in Hive Behemoth colors. Part of our effort to paint the Leviathan box in one weekend from assembly to paint job, which we're going to make. So, to paint this guy right here, I primed him Army Painter's Pure Red. Then I used, these are all going to be Army Painter paints: Mars Red, Matte Black, Pixie Pink, Alien Purple, Deep Blue, Void Shield Blue, Gunmetal, Ash Gray, and Spaceship Exterior. Then I used the Army Painter Soft Tone ink wash, and then bases Games Workshop Stirland Mud. I'm not going to show you how I painted the Space Marine leg or the base. That's up to your individual army. We're just going to focus on doing the Tyranid itself. So let's go ahead and get started. I primed my model Army Painter Pure Red. It's a good base. And now I'm going to take some Army Painter Mars Red and dry brush. And I'm going to see, I didn't get all the paint out like you would traditionally if you're doing a dry brush. Because this isn't the stage at which I'm just using a dry brush because I want to get a big brush and change some of these colors here. So I'm trying to lighten up the Pure Red, and you notice I'm just doing the tops right now. That's why I'm not getting all the paint out. Don't have to worry about the bone. A lot of armor on this guy. Let's see, because I'm not going to turn him over and wipe this off. I might get some of these edges here. The idea is just lights coming down. So, yeah, just hit stuff wildly at random. We're trying to move quickly through all the Tyranids we got. So many Tyranids. So that's why, how do I do a swarm army quickly? But, want to pay a little bit more attention to these higher end models, like the beasts, like everyone's going to be looking at. So, since we're spending more time on these than like the Termagants and some of the other Gaunty, we can go back and you can put like a second layer, but even on a more narrow surface, because we're just trying to create gradation between the darkness of the underside versus when we rotate the light up when we come from looking down from the top. Notice I'm not going underneath and like painting some of the other like I said before. Alright, now we'll take some matte black, and first I'll use the layer brush, and we are aiming just to do stuff like the claw talon things here. Also, I've been doing a lot of these Tyranid growths. I'm doing those black. And so any of the armor, and I like using the layer brush because I'll just cut in around the armor, and I'll switch to a larger brush when I just got to do this bulk acreage right there. But I can be quick and dirty with that larger brush when I get like this edge detail area done. Let's see if there's any other bony. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, there's some. I'll do that as black. I'll do the rest of these teeth different color. Oh, it's a Space Marine piece. Oh, okay, you ripped apart a Space Marine. I was wondering what the heck that thing was. Finally caught it. So it's gonna be a lot of me doing boring stuff like this for a while. Be back when this is wrapped up. So now we'll start doing the black. We'll do the talons and claws. And do mostly the armor. Some of these outside teeth. I'll do the inside teeth, different color. Let's see, armor plate here. And when I get done edging this thing, I will switch to the bulk brush. So we got the black of the armor here. Now let's go on and we're going to grab some Army Painter Pixie Pink. Give that a good shake. Squeezed out a bunch of that. Grab my brush that I've messed up over the years as the neighboring hotel guests laugh themselves silly on their way out. Thank God they're leaving. Fuck it. We'll go ahead and do that. So we get a little mouth here. We'll go a little bit outside it. Can be messy at the edges because we're just going to blend it since it's organic, and the wash will help with that. There we go. Clean that out. Alright, now we're going to do the tentacles here. Okay. Notice there's a Space Marine. We're not going to talk about painting that because paint it whatever Space Marine army you want. But he's got a like a ripped up leg and whatnot. But at this point we're just going to roughly cover it. Let's see if there's any other tentacles I want to do. No. Let's see, since the Pixie Pink's still wet, it kind of blends together the other portions. That'll make sense when we put a wash over it. Alright, so I had to actually put 2 coats of purple on there. Large enough acreage that it started pulling away. Alright, so let's grab some Stirland Mud and we'll start working on the base. So I shook it up to get some of that mud in the cap. I'll use a paintbrush to prop it open. And Games Workshop sells these as paintbrushes. It's just an applicator, but if you're looking for one, put sand and Elmer's glue, PVA glue, white glue, whatever you want to call it, will work just fine in these situations. What we want to do is just build up enough to kind of blend it into these structures. Already, the plastic structure is already on the base. Just try to get a more natural fit between the movement base and the plastic models on. And swirl it around to make it. I mean, that's the nice part about using Stirland Mud. So you do have a little bit of control to create different textures. There we go. Now we'll take some soft tone. pour a little in our palette. And while this dries, might as well, before we head off to bed, get a coat of this down. So I'll go ahead and use a dry brush and just slop a bunch of the soft tone on here. Turn it upside down, make sure everything goes where I want it. Don't want any dry pockets building up, but once we get this all coated, we'll set it down and we'll come back in the morning and pick it up from there with some of our detail work. And watch out, don't touch that stuff, it'll stain the bejesus. And see now, the pink and the purple next to each other with the soft tone wash, you can start blending it together to more like a natural transition. I'd stop bumping the camera. Now that this guy has dried, let's go ahead and take some Army Painter Deep Blue, and we are just going to put one massive layer of this stuff on here. This deep blue, and just on these little clouds. These are his thoughts exercising themselves. He's perceiving the world that he wants to be, putting out his vibes. So we're going to do all these up, and want a thick layer because I want it to stay wet for the next stage. And we'll be back for that. So I put 2 coats of deep blue on there and it's still wet, so I'm going to get a brush. It's moist here. I'm going to take my Void Shield Blue Army Painter, and then I'm just going to tap it around the raised edges there. Swirl those 2 wet paints together. So you dab it across, just run it. It's going to pick up some of that deep blue in there. To the Void Shield, so you get deep blue in your Void Shield, your Void Shield in your deep blue. We're just not going to push it into the crevices, just along the raised edges. It's a fast way to create that smoky glow effect. And you can actually go back over when this all dries, do some more Void Shield over the top, and I'll give you more. So we're going to let this dry, and we're going to come back and do more psychic energy depictions. It's pretty good. Now I'm going to pull out my Pixie Pink and Alien Purple again and switch to a new brush here, burning through the other one. Now I'm going to start with the purple, and what we're going to do is we're just going to freshen up some of these tentacles. Since it's been washed, just put a fresh layer of purple, just kind of spatter it on. And what this allows us to do is make the tentacle look wet again. Move this pen out of the way. Let's take some while to dry with the humidity. See, we're moving pretty quickly through there. Alright, good. Clean out the brush real quick. Go to the Pixie pink. Of course, it's army painter, so it's running a little thin. Try to stir that up. Alright, so Pixie pink. A little tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. It's better than dry brushing, it's just tapping away. Tap, 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 tap. There, got a little extra depth out of that. Now we're going to take some Army Painter Void Shield Blue, and I'm going to take one of my larger dry brushes. So this is the medium Games Workshop dry brush. And for this I'm going to do the carapace armor here, not the claws. And then I'm going to touch some of the leaking braininess. So we put a little bit on, and we'll wipe most of it off. I'm going to hit it from one direction, so I know what edges I want to catch. I have a little too much on there. So I'm going into the edges. We'll just keep going along like that. Flavoring to taste. Now, tricky not to hit some of the other parts I've done. Remember, this is supposed to be like a little psychic energy leaking out of their little bodies. To the other side. Oh, dry brushing. You're so awesome. Alright, now I'm going to use some Army Painter gunmetal, and this is for his little terrain piece. It's over here. I'm going to say that this is a little piece of metal rebar. Alright. Now we'll clean that out. We'll go over to our ash gray. Now with the ash gray, I'm going to do this is like a stonework. This will match the terrain of the buildings I have. Alright, and then once I have that on there, I'll switch back to my dry brush here. And we are going to punch up some of these other parts that I decided won't have the neuro energy on it, but I want to still catch some of these edges here. Let me get some of these too. Just lighten it up a little bit. Bring out some of the detail in the claws. Some of the bone work down here. Worry about getting it on the red. Actually dusty it up a little bit, make it a little more interesting. A little mouth there. There we go. That looks good. Next up will be the spaceship exterior. Don't need much of this. We're actually going to use it just for... It's got a couple little tiny teeth you can somewhat see. There's them all. Just use the edge brush. And then what I also like to do is take little parts of the armor, just give like a little highlight, just twig it up a little bit. Imagine taking a line of reflection, like right there, and going, whoop, this would be in line, so whoop, right here, and right there. And then we can also just take a little bit of the paint and tap, 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 tap. Just tap the paint on. Get little glowy psychic energy clouds, little happy clouds. Dancing out our monster here. He's very happy right now. There we go. While I'm at it, why don't I go like right there, right there. Imagine your little Tyranid, what his life's been like. A little too much. Growing up a little biomass pool. Good times. So, there we go. Nice and steady. I think we're going to call that a day. There. Well, that was fun. Part of our quick paint job. Get all these boys done. So some other things I left done. There's a little Space Marine leg he's holding. I'm going to paint it ultramarine. I have other ultramarine videos you can watch. And then undo the base. That's really up to you what you want to do the base color. But that's going to be it for today on this guy. So we bust through on the weekend with our little Tyranids. So thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.